Hi everyone. So we are back with another video. I honestly can't even believe we're doing this video. We're so tired. This weekend at our hotel there was an interesting party at our hotel, so we're tired basically. So we are dedicated to this. We're going to be doing this tired. Anyways, we're going to be talking about being 40 and single, or being in your 40s and single. Especially when it comes to Black women, because I feel like every year at around this time, spring, summer, when the weddings start happening, there's a video that circulates. And I know y'all seen it because now it's all over. I think it's like Dateline. Is it 2020? I don't know. Dateline or 2020. Steve Harvey's in it. There's a group of Black women that are talking about being single, and they're talking about how it's hard for them as Black women to find somebody.
We outnumber them.
Oh yeah.
And also, if you take away gay men, that they're
incarcerated men,
gay men, and then that Black women are more educated, than Black men.
So there, so anyways, so now what happens is I feel like it's like a conspiracy theory that every year this video kind of circulates, and it seems like it puts Black women back in a sad position. Like they're upset that they're still single, and in their 40s and single. So I'm 40. I'll be 42 in a couple of days, and you're 43. And we're not that mad. I mean, are you mad? I'm not that mad. About being single. I do want a relationship.
I'm not dating, so
right.
I'm not dating, so I feel like if I was dating, I'd be in a relationship. But I'm not dating, so I don't feel any pressure
to
I don't identify with that because I feel like I truly believe that I'm gonna get married.
Right.
And I truly believe that someone's gonna. But if I was dating, I'm not dating right now. So if I was dating,
but when you were dating, Did you feel like you were having a hard time?
Yeah, but that was because I knew it was me.
Okay, so that's another part of this.
I didn't know it was me. It wasn't them, really. You
know? So that's another part of this whole thing. Right. Okay, so this is the part where y'all know that the underlying thing for our whole show is accountability and responsibility. Of how you are in your life, basically, right? So I feel like a lot of people, Black women, date in the wrong state of mind. It seems as if, I'm not blaming Black women, I do get it. I'm a Black woman, so I understand the struggle sometimes, but I do think that there are good men out there. But I feel like a little bit Black women, we lead with our masculine foot first, right? Like I feel like when Black women are very these days, and I don't think we meant to be that way. I know we were raised with a single mom, and the women in our family are all single, right? Like our aunts, they're all single. Our grandmother was single, so we come kind of, it's like a history of that. So I think what happens is that when you're raised with a single mom, you're kind of taught to take care of yourself, and which is right. I mean, she's right to do that, but it also puts you, as women, in position to think that we have to now do everything, and that we can't, we can't let a man lead. Right. I mean, a little bit, we can't lead. So I think when it comes to being single, and this whole, I don't think we're cursed as Black women. I just feel like,
Black women don't like to be vulnerable.
You take a little bit of a step.
Black women don't like being vulnerable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think a lot of it is because of the single mother, mother. What's the word?
I don't know.
The single mother story that goes on because so many Black women are single mothers, and so it makes it look like Black men just don't want to be with us.
Right.
And so once that whole story starts to go around, you have to be a strong Black woman, which means you got to cook and clean and be sexy and be, you go to work and, make lots of money and you got to do everything. And so I think Black women have even single mothers on some level put that on their daughters to be that way, not purposefully.
Not purpose. Yeah.
I think it's just that they feel like don't ever rely on a man for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing. You know what I mean? And what happens, I think, what starts to happen is that it turns into not having your own, to just not trusting that they're going to stay.
So the idea of a man at that time being like a leader, the leader role, it just the word leader meant take over.
Yeah.
Like take over, and and now I just feel like now it's I'm a little more calm with it. I think that I want a man now to take the lead. The issue that I think is happening now, which I think a lot of black women would, rightfully so, in a lot of cases, is that black men now are, just allowing black women to just be the leader. And they're just kind of abandoning their role. Not all of them, but abandoning their role, and that becomes a problem because women that want to get married, are like, no, I want this. I want the leader. I want the guy that's the lead.
Well, I mean, feminism worked.
Right.
Feminism was to make women as equal to men.
Yeah.
As they, in the household, so that women couldn't be chained to the kitchen.
So that came with a price. That came with a little bit of a price.
So men now, they just are like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then that's fine. But now women then get mad because they don't have. Yeah. Because they get mad because now they can't be. You can't have it both ways. It's like you want a man to be a man, but then when he tries to be a man, then we try to be a man.
Yeah.
Because that's what, look at Beyonce. I mean, this is what the world is trying to
She's
tell
a good example. Although we don't know Beyonce. We just know what they show.
Poured into the...
Yeah, but since it's popular culture, I guess that's a good example, Jay-Z and Beyonce. So everybody wants the power couple, right? The there's a meme that always around the build the empire together, something about building an empire together, being a power couple. And I feel like now it's just all based on the look now. They're being this big power, rich couple, and it's like, it's not what the original black relationships were about back in the 50s and 60s and all that. There was the black people were married. We were married at a high, like the percentage was high, right? Yeah, they were mostly married. And I think now when black women say they don't, I can't find a man, I can't find a man. It's like, okay, that's probably accurate because you don't have one, so I guess that would be accurate. But then you have to kind of look at it now. Why don't I have a man? Like, what is the problem here? What could I be doing that's not wrong, but maybe that may not be benefiting my bottom line? So when you're black women are highly educated women, which is great, right? Where they go to college. I didn't go to college, but black women are higher education, where we lead that. Of higher education. Most black women that I know, I would say pretty much almost all the black women that I know all have their own homes. They own their own homes or cars. They're at higher levels in their position in their workplace. They make a lot of money. Then that begs the question now, what does that leave for the black man to do? The man to do? Like what are y'all leaving for them to do? I don't want to put us back in the 50s. The thing is, I don't want to put us back like in the 50s in that way, but there is something to be said for in the 50s.
But all those rules weren't wrong.
60s, yeah.
I mean, all those rules, we abandoned ship. We shouldn't have done that all the way. I mean, feminism helped us in a lot of ways, but it set us back in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because a lot of black women feel like they have to be everything. Yeah. They have to be, look at it. I'm every woman. You know what I mean? Everything is just, a woman has to be everything. And you never have I don't feel black men get the same load.
Yeah,
when it comes to that. No. We're always strong black woman. Yeah. Strong black woman. Yeah. You must have a career. You must be sexy. Yeah. You must be this. You must be, I feel like black men really don't get as much,
of that
pressure.
Yeah,
I think I'm saying when they go to work, they do. When they go out into the workforce, because they have to work against white men. Yeah. So in that area, but as far as like in the world, like when it comes to both of us, I think black women. But I also think it's a pressure we put on ourselves. Yeah. Once feminism started, we did that. You know what I mean? We wanted to be out of the kitchen. We wanted to be career people, and now you know,
we're single.
Now we're kind of single because of it. You know what I mean?
Now we're single career people. That, you know, and to talk about this subject though, you do have to talk about the feminist movement, because that is kind of what messed us up a little bit. Because first of all, it wasn't really our.
That was a white lady.
It wasn't our movement.
It was for white women.
It was a white women's movement.
Women, you know,
and they got us involved. Okay, and we were going through that time. The 60s was, we were already doing the civil rights movement, and then now we have this group of people wanting to do now the feminist movement. I'm like, really, to me, I feel like at the time, I think a lot of black leaders feel like the feminist movement kind of messed up the situation a bit. Okay, now where feminist movement did not mess anything up is when is equal pay in the workplace, being treated, you know, equally in the workplace, which is what I thought it was originally what it was for. You know, when you research it, it just turned into something totally different. It turned into women being more masculine and taking on that kind of masculine role. And so and
then you have Steve Harvey, and you know, this night Dateline or whatever this thing comes out, and it shines a light on how black women feel about you know.
There's a high percentage, right? What is the percentage of black women?
Well,
single
I read
black
one
women?
place where it says 70. They almost said it's like 69% of black women are single. And
Or
it's just
they said that some will never get married. Like that's,
or no, they say most black women get married for the first time in their 40s.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
And you know, it's not the same with like white women.
Right.
So there's most black women will get married in the 40s. Most black women are mostly in relationships with men.
Yeah.
Even black women who are in relationships stay in relationships too long before they get married.
Right.
So they end up being in a 10-year situationship with a guy they're not married to. They have kids, they have a life, they have everything, but they're not married.
Yeah.
And so
statistically, white women white men too will not wait a long time to ask a woman to marry them, but black men do statistically do wait quite a while before they even ask a black woman to marry them, and we stay with that, right? Because we don't want to give people the ultimatum and take all the spark out of it. But a little bit, if you want to get married, you need to be clear on what you want. Otherwise, you're gonna be single.
All right. I'm not dating, so if I was dating, then I feel like I would be in a you know, in that, I mean, I guess group of women who are having a hard time with it.
Right.
But if I don't feel that I'm gonna have a hard time with it.
No, when you get back in the
I don't really feel like I'm gonna have that hard time with it. It's just like I always feel like, again, if you know, there has to be something going on if you are not married and you're dating over and over again. There has to be something's going on with you. So, I don't think it's all men. I don't think men are just the only men are not the reason why a lot of black women are getting married. I mean, it's just not true. You know, but also we weren't raised in marriage either.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's a fact for a lot of black people is that black men are being raised by black women. A lot black women are being raised by black women, and so it's almost like sometimes I think you have to see the example.
Yeah, right.
You know
Of marriage.
Like, we were raised around a lot of single women. Yeah. So my mother was single, my grandmother was single, her sister was single, most of my cousins are single, all my aunts are single. Yeah. And I think if you're raised around,
my grandmothers on both sides,
you know, are single. So it's just like
they were.
I just think if you're raised with that in your life where you don't see that example, then I think that you have a harder time seeing, or you date based on what you think it is,
right?
Like what TV shows,
with TV,
like that, you know.
And then what happens is you get in your 40s, and you're like, man, I'm still single.
Yeah.
And then it starts to become real, and then the single black woman talk gets really like enhanced during the spring and summer when people's friends are getting married. And and their family members are getting married and stuff. It's like, oh man, I'm still single. I'm still dating, and this person found someone. It's like, no, and then it's comparing, so you can't do that.
And then men want to get. I mean, to me, like, it's not that men don't. I don't feel men don't want to get married. I mean, because a lot of. I mean, I've been asked out quite a bit, and those men want to get married. You know what I mean? So it's just like those men want relationships. So I think it's a disconnect also. Yeah. You know, I can't tell you how many times I'm on my timeline and black men are just completely shredding black women sexually and sexually making them look like tramps and talking about oral sex all the time and talking about just any kind of sexual position. It's just like in a cartoon figure or just in a real woman, or how many naked women we have to post up. And then it's the same thing with black women. Then they go and then they post up all kinds of a real man would do this, a real man would do that. So I feel like we just don't like each other sometimes either. Like we're fighting before we even get to know each other. It's like there's so much I feel like there's so many black people who want to get together, but we don't really know how to. Yeah. So instead of just saying that we want to be together and we want to get married and we want to have children, we want to have relationships, when we turn around and we talk about what it is we don't want in someone, like.
And so like
a real man would do this. A real man would do, a real man, if you're not lifting this, I feel like there's a lot of finger wagging at, the opposite sex when you're dating. And then I feel like this with the same thing with black men is that they'll go in, they'll finger wag. It's like, and I always feel like if you are not in a relationship, it's really because of you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you can't. If you want to be in a relationship and if you're not ready, you're just not ready. But if you want to be in a relationship, then there has to be something's wrong. And I think it's like a disconnect.
Because the black women I know are like really beautiful women. They are smart. They're charming. They're accomplished women. So these are not like, these are higher caliber women, but they're single. And I know a lot of them are, I've talked to them. So a lot of them are like, well, what is going on? Why am I still single? And I'm like, what's your feedback? All right. What's your feedback? I had one person tell me that, a guy said he didn't feel like, what was he there for? Because she was doing all the stuff. Like she had to pay the bills, she was doing all the stuff. So it kind of put him in a position. I'm not trying to be harsh on black women, but we do have to be feminine. You know what I mean? Be in that kind of that feminine like space, because when you're not, this is the outcome.
I mean, sometimes I'm on Facebook and I'll see a post and it will and I can't even believe it's a woman. I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh, that's a girl. Like that's a woman. Like we talk like men and we need to stop. And men, there used to be a time in life where men didn't when a woman walked in the room, men used to say mixed company. Like they would stop talking to someone. Now it's just like
men would stand up.
Remember that? Men would stand up. They would open doors.
A woman walks into a room, a man is standing up.
Now men will just go on Facebook and write all kinds of sexual,
a lot of women take
immaturity. It's just immaturity too. Like you'll see 40-year-old men still talking like they are 16 years old, like they've never had sex before. Right. It's like, okay, you guys have not had sex in your life. I mean, I always feel like people who talk too much about sex aren't getting it. You know what I mean? They're not. Like, you're not getting it. Why are you talking about it? You're 40 years old. At this point, you should have something much more involved to talk about. It's good to have jokes. Everyone has sexual jokes with their friends and stuff. But just to put it out on Facebook for people who don't really even know you.
And they get mad that
you can't find a good woman.
That women are just terrible.
Because people find each other on social media. So if you're putting out, content that is disrespectful to the very people you want to date, and then the next post you put up is, I can't find a good woman because women aren't this, women aren't. No, you can't find a good woman because you're immature and you're disrespectful. Right. I won't date any man on Facebook at all or in life that talks about women in a very derogatory way. I won't. And most of these men have kids, daughters. Right. You know what I mean? And so it's just like the same as women. I don't, when I see women who preach too much about what men don't do on Facebook, I can see why you don't have a man. Yeah. No man wants to sit there and listen to a woman that only has negative things to say based on her last relationship. Right. Because that's what this is mostly about. People. Yeah. Because then you can't put up conscious content. Yeah. Like men and women put up all this conscious stuff about Malcolm X and stuff and how much they love the black people and how we need to stick together, and then completely tear each other to shreds and say that we're not we're not together because black women know how to be ladies no more.
That's not why we're not together. There was a couple of weeks ago at the hotel. There was there was a wedding party that was here at the hotel, and I talked to one of the couples. They were guests at the wedding, and they were older black couple. And when I say older, I think they're like 80 years old. They're like in their 80s, 70s, 80s, and they were talking about, because what happens is when weddings happen, people start, oh, I'm single now, like, I'm still single, and I was asking this couple, like, what do you think it is? What is the problem with Black people not getting married? Like, why are we not getting married? Like, you guys have been married they've been married for a long time. So, like, so what is the deal? And it's like, well, they told me that, back in our time, Black people actually liked each other, and what the man ended up saying was that there's really just Black people don't trust each other. They and the woman, she's like, yeah, it's like now, like, Black people just don't trust each other like we used to trust each other a lot. And I know, and it was so nice to hear them just kind of just say, this older couple experience, understood back in a time where it was okay, going through a time where it's not now, where we're, and it's nice just to hear a simplistic reason, which I agree with them, that is really what it is, because you hear about the statistics and the stats. You got people, 20 Dateline doing stories on us.
Just like as soon as we as soon as we get a chance, it's like, especially with the memes going around, as soon as they see a meme that triggered them, they'll put it out. They'll play 5 memes. This is what, and then there are the Black women who are so angry that they have to show that they can be a man all day, hustle like a man, go out here and do this. I don't have time for this. I'd rather be alone than be. It's just like, with that energy you're putting out, that you're angry.
That you're angry.
You're angry, and you can't hide behind your money and your career, because nobody believes that. No one believes that you want to be career oriented and be single for the rest of your life. And any woman who does that goes online and starts talking about, overly sexual, or talking about money. And start talking about career, they're BSing you. Because they're just trying to make you seem like you can't hurt them. You can't hurt me. You know what I mean? And that's masculine energy. So and as soon as you do that, you push men away.
You're just saying that Black women are defensive
because they fear. There's this thing of feeling like, especially I think if you've never been married, you start to internalize it. Maybe it is me. So instead of, because you don't want it, your ego gets in the way. Then all of a sudden you don't want to say it's me. It has to be them. So I hustle. I get my money. So all of a sudden you have to be cool. You gotta be tough. You gotta be hard. You gotta show these men that because you won't.
Why are we doing that?
It's the Beyonce effect. It's the, I gotta be every woman. You know what I mean? I gotta act like a woman. I gotta have sex like a man. I gotta be overly sexual like a man. I have to make money like a man. I have to do all this. It's this ego that we have that we used to not have. That's why we used to be married. Now we're not.
Which is why the couple I was telling you about, the older couple, they were like, it's just a totally different time. They're like, but the one thing that should have never changed is the respect between Black people. As
much as I get disappointed with Black men, not with how they treat me, because most Black men treat me well. It's just it's the content. Like, sometimes it's the way they talk, and they say just the most crudest things that you're like, why are you saying that in front of a woman? Like, why are you saying that? It breaks my heart a little bit to see that they don't care about what we hear anymore.
I know Black women that I know, friends of mine that they say, oh no, I'm married to my job, I'm married to my hustle. I'm like, yeah, but you keep saying you want to get married. Actually get married, not to your job. So think about that. If you're sitting there saying that I'm married to my job, and I don't have time for to be away from him. He comes along, it comes along, but and then not. I don't know. It's just.
But that's what we were saying, Daniel, on our first video, is that I was saying, remember, I said that that just because you have a job, this is why I say, when we were talking about accountability, this one's saying, just because you have a job and you drive a nice car and you look good, does not mean you don't have issues. And people like to hide behind a lot of things. They like to hide behind their work, and they like to hide behind their their things and their social life, and make it seem like they're just so busy they can't have a life. Like, you can. You can. If you can talk about it on Facebook, you do have some time there. You just are. I think that it's just, a lot of women don't know how to find a man. They don't know how to get a man, and I think a lot of men don't know how to get a woman.
And like, I did most of my dating when I was in New York. Like the majority of my real dating, because prior to that I was only in relationships. So when I was in New York, I got to date, and I really didn't have bad experiences. Maybe it's because I wasn't. I mean, maybe because I wasn't.
No, because you were in dating mode. You weren't in find a husband. You know what I mean? And I think that you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you have a goal. Like, it's just like, oh, I must find a husband. So then you start getting a checkoff list, and you don't allow yourself to be in the moment with someone. Because you don't
start
know.
freaking out because you're 40.
Right.
And you're like, oh my God. Like, even late 30s.
Right.
You're like, oh my God, I'm supposed to already have children right now. I'm supposed to already at least have a husband. At least have a husband.
Because who you marry may not be who was on your list.
That's right.
Like, I mean,
Steve Harvey's right about that when he said that.
It's true, though.
When he said that on that video, if y'all watch it, I'll put like a screenshot of with the title of that. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's been around for years. But when he said, you know, your list is so long, and he has to be 6'5". He has to make one. I make $150,000 a year. He has to make 155. You know, what I mean, like he has to be a dark skinned guy. He has to be a light skinned guy. He has to have this. He has this kind of car. You know, it's like. He was right.
He has to go to college.
Yeah, he has to go to college. He has to go to certain colleges.
You don't know who you might connect with.
It's like really he made a good point. I would have to agree with Steve on that when he said, "Look, you guys are putting pressure on your unnecessary pressure on yourself to create this man that you now have all these characteristics of all these men, but you're still single. You're still single, but you got all these characteristics that you're looking for, but you're still single, and you complain about the single stuff, right? But it's like, but how is the list working for you if you're still single? So that's just saying he's right when he says you really kind of have to be reasonable. With these you don't have to lower your standards, but you have to have some kind of reasonable standards. So yeah, Steve Harvey had a good point when he said that we have to be more reasonable with these lists, y'all. And I think you have a list? I don't even know if I have a list.
I mean, I don't.
Did you have a list like when you were in 20s?
No, I mean, I have a. I don't have a list because I like blue collar men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I like men who work with their hands. I'll probably marry a guy who went to college. You know what I mean? Because I said that. But I'm open to that. I mean, if I meet a guy who's a blue collar or white collar and I just like him, then I just like him. But the things on the inside mean more to me than the things on the outside, really. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you can't be like smelly. And you gotta take a bath. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be smelly and, you know, unkept, and he also can't help who you're attracted to either physically. So I can't be mad at that. You know what I mean? If you're a man who just, you know, you don't like plus size women, well, then you just don't. Well,
then you can go ahead and X me out.
Don't date a plus size woman and try to change her into a skinny woman. And do tend to be attracted to darker skinned men. It's just where I gravitate. You know, but it doesn't mean that I won't give a light skinned guy. Right. You know, he treats me well. Then who cares? I don't care what color he is. I don't care if he's white. I don't care if he's Native American. Right. If he treats me right, and
I love Native Americans so much.
And he doesn't, you know, disrespect women. Then he's.
I think we're gonna have to. I don't know. I feel like black women. I feel your pain because I am a black woman. I am single and I am in my 40s. So I get what you're saying. If anybody's gonna understand, it's gonna be us because we're the statistic.
And you know,
but if you always
don't you love black men?
No, I just that's what I'm saying before.
It's like it's very hard for me to jump outside my race.
Yeah, because my preference will always be black. That's what I was saying before. My preference will always be black men.
And I didn't have a father growing up, but my father's black. So maybe that's part of it. Even though I just know him, you know, I just tend to like, and my father's dark skin, so maybe that's it. He's short. True. That's not something I'm attracted to, but you know, like, do you feel like you're not married because of any reason? You're not dating.
Well, I'm not dating right now. Right. Which so that's going to change, y'all. So let me just put that out there.
But when you date,
we're going to get back into
like when you date, do you see? I don't. This is my thing. It's like like I said last time, I love my own company. Yeah. So I don't feel pressure to get married, although I know that everybody's like, you know, when you're going to get married. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
I don't really give a damn about what people, you know what I mean, say about, I'll get married when it's time for me to get married. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel any real pressure to make a guy like me. Yeah. And I think maybe a lot of women do that. They go wanting to get married. Yeah. And then they date a man that's in that like list, that 10, what's on that, you know, that 10.
The car, they gotta have a certain car.
They gotta have a certain college education. It has to be this height. It has to be, you know what I mean? And then they're on the mission of marriage instead of the the
natural just falling in
progression
love.
of knowing somebody.
Yeah, I get to know somebody.
Because I would be shocked as shit if I married a white man.
Yeah.
I would be so shocked at myself. Like, really? Like, you know what I mean? I would be so shocked to be laying in bed next to this white man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And like him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That would be picture you with a white man.
It's so weird.
But people can always picture me with every other race in the world. So maybe we're just not thinking. Maybe black women. Okay. So maybe we're just
give
not.
These men a chance.
We just
There's
need
some good
to
men out there.
Broaden our perspective here and our just maybe open up, diversify. Maybe we need to diversify a little bit because I feel like we're not doing that. I mean, there is a thing. We have this loyalty to black men. I have like black women. That's proven. We have this loyalty to black men where we will not get married until we find the perfect black man, right? And meanwhile, they're over here getting married back and forth. They're good. Yeah. They're good.
I mean, you get axed out. I mean, I just feel like when you get axed out all the time, one of those guys are going to be good men.
Oh yeah,
I mean, and also I think that the list is not as not as important as you respecting yourself. Because if you respect yourself, you really can find good men. And also men follow that.
Yeah.
If confidence of it. Like men want confidence. Yeah. You know, they don't just want physicality only.
But we want confidence. We want to see.
I know. I mean, I like ambitious men. I like driven men because I'm kind of like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like I think that if you respect yourself and you stay on a you keep your, what's the word? I forget the word. The word, I'm trying to figure that out.
Did you hate that?
I hate when I can't remember a word when I'm trying to figure it out. Standards. If you keep your standards, and by standards I don't mean jobs and stuff. No, but I mean is morals. That when the man comes to, does he open the door for you?
Yeah, what are the morals?
I mean, forget about how much he makes if he can't open the door. He could put you in a Ferrari, but if he doesn't open the door, do you really want to get in? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some people do. I'm like, no. Then you need to figure out what you're doing.
I mean, I adore. This is why I like blue collar men. I adore hard working men. Yeah. There is something just attractive about a man who can fix things and put things together, mechanics and construction workers
or just handymen.
So look, don't be writing off people who didn't go to college, and don't be writing off people who were
if y'all doing
there's some determined men out there. There's some determined men out there.
If y'all are doing that, ladies, where y'all might be doing that even by accident.
Because I know some college men that are lazy as shit. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to do anything that requires being physical at all. They're like,
right off anybody.
Don't let your college education make you not see a good person standing right in front of you.
Right. I think a little bit though, women are feeling like they want to show a man too that I can pay. I don't really need you to pay my bills. I don't need you to do any of that. All I need you to love me.
And don't get me started with women who only date men for
more
money.
Than that. Yeah. Yeah,
it's just like, but women in our 40s, if people in our 40s, we should be more involved in this. I mean, we should be able to like each other. But it's like we treat each other bad. This is why when I'm on Facebook, I never write bad things about men. Never really, because I don't want to. I don't feel bad. I like them.
I'm not angry. That term is always an angry black woman. Like I'm not an angry black woman.
I love
pretty
black
lighthearted.
Men.
I don't feel angry. I think black men are great. Now there are some obviously in every race, by the way, that are not so great. Right, aren't going through whatever they're going through. But I don't feel angry towards men. So if you guys are going out there in the world, the dating world. Assuming the other shoe's going to drop pretty soon with this guy. Like he's nice now, but the other shoe's going to drop pretty soon. Then you're already messing yourself up.
There's some good-looking women out here.
We don't trust we need to trust more.
There's some good-looking women that are in shape.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
They got careers.
Yeah.
And they can't find no man. I'm like, sweetheart, that's you.
What's the problem?
You know what I mean? That's you. If you are an attractive woman that's got your life together and you got a nice car, and you can't find a man, then there is something wrong with you.
What's the problem?
It's not them. You're either picking the wrong man or you're giving some energy off that these men are just like, hell no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Check yourself. Go. That's why I keep saying accountability is like discipline. It'll set you free.
Yeah.
Because it'll make you accountable for yourself. So then when you go out there, you know that you're doing everything on the inside. Forget about what you do for a living and stuff, because that's nothing. You can lose your job in a minute, and then you will be worth nothing if that's all you. Yeah. If that's all you built.
But when you take the accountability for what you're doing in your dating situation and why you're single, why you may be single, just take a step back, because you are gonna find out. When you take accountability, you're going to find out a lot about yourself. I don't have when I've been on dates. you know, even with men after this whole situation happened with us, I was surprised at how men they're just great. Like a lot of them are great. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of them. The ones I've dated that are really nice. It may not have worked out. We may not have the connection. That's separate. It may not have had the connection, but these are really good guys. So I'm not meeting bad ones. And I think it's because I'm in a better space mentally. Because I think before when I was dating, I wasn't in a better space mentally, and I was dating not so great guys. I was attracting that, and now all of a sudden, I'm taking responsibility for me.
Like at the worst time in my life,
now the guys are great.
At the worst time in my life where everything kind of fell apart, I found the nicest people.
Yeah, that's weird.
Saying don't fall asleep on these guys just because they don't fit some stupid list that this stupid society says you have to have to date somebody or to make someone's worthy.
I know a woman who said, "Oh, I'm not gonna date him. He's a postal worker." I'm like, excuse you? What are you talking about? Maybe this is your problem then. Yeah. Maybe it's why you're single, black lady. Because it was a friend of mine. You're not going to date. Well, then I don't want to hear another word about, there's no good men. Well, how about you judging someone completely on their job? Like that? What is that? Right. Maybe the reason why you're single is because it's you.
It could be.
Maybe it's not just, maybe it's not just the guys. I'm not saying it's totally not, but
I mean,
maybe it's not.
But men too. It goes for them too, not just for women. There's some men out here all day long, talking about how they can't find a good woman and how women are different and changed and everything. And but then
what are you doing?
Then you go and say the worst things that come out of a human being's mouth, not even a man's mouth, a human being's mouth, and talk horrible about women, and then think that a whole bunch of women are going to subscribe to that. Like you.
Well, that's what we've been saying so far of this other videos. You better look at yourself. Okay, guys. So as always, take accountability and responsibility for yourselves, and maybe you'll figure out why you're single. But don't be depressed. You're gonna find somebody. He's out there. I promise you. She promises you, and it's gonna happen. So, tell us what you guys think about this subject, and we will be back again next Tuesday with another video. Thanks for watching, guys.